Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, Honorable Ma'am Afifah Khairani. As a lecturer of second language acquisition course and all my friends whom I love. First of all, let's thank to Allah because His mercy and blessing we can attend this place in Ramadan. And secondly, salawat and salam always delivered to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alaih.
God us from the darkness to brightness. And today we will present material about individual learner differences. Before we start, let us let's introduce ourselves. My name is Basumari from the fifth group as moderator, and I am Adina Suro as the second speaker.
And I am as the first speaker. Saya Bambang Kemariman as Pembanti.
And I am Adina Suro as
Compression.
So before we start our presentation,
Introduce
let's start
ourselves.
with reciting basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
To shorten the time, it's time to presentation. Will be delivered by the first speaker, Stanislav.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Moderator.
You're welcome.
Here I am as the first speaker. I would like to present, I would like to deliver individual learner differences. And before we enter to what are the individual learner differences, we must know what is individual learner differences mean. The definition of individual learner differences. Individual learner differences in second language acquisition refer to the variation and distinctions among language learners in terms of their abilities, preferences, strategies, and progress when acquiring a second or foreign language. These differences can be influenced by various factors, both internal and external, and can significantly impact the language learning process. Okay, after we knowing the definition about individual learning differences, for the second point is the individual learner differences itself. There are some differences of individual learners. The difference we explore are age, sex, aptitude, motivation, cognitive style, personality, and learning strategies. There are several. And I will explain the age until the 1, 2, 3, 4, until motivation. First is age. Age. Wait. Age is one of the most significant individual learner differences in SLA. Because why? Because younger learners, especially children, tend to acquire second language more easily and develop native-like accents. This is often referred to as the critical period hypothesis. However, older learners can still achieve high proficiency in second language, though it may take more time and effort. So in age, the differences in age, individual learner differences, is the younger learner have privilege in learning second language or new language. They are will easily to know, to understand, and acquiring the new language. While the older, they will need a longer time to know about the second language. It's about the age. And there is a table, and those are the advantages of younger and older advantage. Like the younger advantage is like brain plasticity, non-analytical, and others. Older advantage, learning capacity, analytic ability, and etc. The second is sex. Most research on the relation of learner sex and SLA has been concerned with cognitive style of learning strategies, or to issues of what variety of L2 is being acquired or opportunities for input and interaction. There do appear to be some sex differences in language acquisition and processing, but the research evidence is mixed. For example, women outperform men in some tests of verbal fluency, such as finding words that begin with a certain letter. That's the result of research that there is woman and men and women. For example, there is men and women, and here I instruct them to find a word begin with a certain alphabet. For example, found a word begin with A, and the research found women have faster to find the new to find the word. Like example A, apple. For example, from 10 women and 10 men, they are faster than the women. And the third is aptitude. Aptitude is bakat. According to Carroll, a psychologist whose name is perhaps most often associated with research on language aptitude. Aptitude as a concept correspondent to the notion that in approaching a particular learning task or program, the individual may be taught as possessing some current state of capability of learning tasks. The following four components were proposed by Carroll as underlying this challenge, and they constitute the base for most aptitude tests. There are first is phonemic coding ability, inductive language learning ability, grammatical sensitivity, and the last is associate memory capacity. And the fourth is motivation. Another factor is frequently cited to explain why some L2 or second language learners are more successful than others is individual motivation. Motivation largely determines the level of effort which learners expend at various stages in their L2 development, often a key to ultimate level of proficiency. Motivation is variously defined, but it is usually conceived as a construct which includes at least the following components. There are five. First is significant goal or need. Second, desire to attain the goal. Third, perception that learning L2 is relevant to fulfilling the goal or meeting the need. And the fourth, belief in the likely success or failure of learning L2 or second language. The fifth or the last is value of potential outcomes or rewards. The most widely recognized types of motivation are integrative and instrumental. Integrative motivation is based on the interest in learning L2 because of desire to learn about or associate with the people who use it. And meanwhile, the instrumental motivation involves perception of purely practical value in learning the L2, such as increasing occupational or business opportunities. That's all my explanation, and I'll give back to moderator.
Thank you for the first speaker, and the next material will be delivered by second speaker. Plan is yours. Okay, thank you for the moderator. I will continue the fifth point here, cognitive style. According to Woolworth, cognitive style is a different way to see, recognize, and organize information. Every individual has a particular preferred way of processing and organizing information in response to environmental stimuli. Meanwhile, Reading and Rainer explain that cognitive style is a consistently preferred approach to organizing and describing information. Almost the same view was expressed by Messick that cognitive styles are the habit of individuals in processing information. Uh, each individual psychologically has a difference in how to process information and organize their activities. This difference affects that the quantity and quality of the results of activities carried out, including student learning activities. This difference is called cognitive style. Here, there are two distinctions. First, field dependent and field independent. Field independent here, students who are cognitive style, field independent are more effective in their learning. Based on by phase or sequence that start with analyzing fact and processing data. The second, field dependent. Knowledge explain that students are cognitive styles field dependent depending on the structure of their environment. Learning processes are experientially dependent, have short-lived attention that is changeable, like to study the environment, attract learning situation according to feelings and experiences. Are socially oriented and less performance oriented and are less competitive. The sixth is personality. Here there is um, the personality describes the unique patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that distinguish a person from others. There are six kinds of it. First, self-esteem. At the highest level is itself, or the individual's overall self-assessment. At the medical level is specific self-esteem, or how individuals perceive themselves in various life contexts. Second, extroversion. Folk wisdom holds that extroverted learners at the faster rate than introverts. However, like so much of the working class areas, The results of empirical research are inconclusive. I'm sorry, speaker, that we have a limited time and it's over 10 minutes. So we next to the next section, question and answer, and especially for comparison, will be. Thank you for moderator. Hey.
Okay.
And here I will ask about aptitude. The question is, how does aptitude in memory and linguistic analysis affect success in learning a second language? Thank you.
Could you repeat one more time?
How does
That's
aptitude in memory and linguistic analysis affect success in learning a second language?
affect or effect?
Effect.
Affect. Yeah.
Effect.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question. Boleh. Tunggu, wait.
The question from main comparison will be answered by first speaker.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. The question is from the comparison, how does the aptitude, memory, and linguistic analysis affect success in learning a second language, right?
Yes.
Of course, aptitude is bakat. Aptitude and memory, it's mean like bakat in ingatan. Of course, aptitude and memory and linguistic analysis can significantly impact success in learning a second language. First, in memory. Good memory, good memory skills can help in retaining vocabulary, phrase, and grammar rules more effectively. And second, memorizing vocabulary lists and recalling them during conversation. The third is it aids. It aids in remembering the context in which certain words or phrases are used. That's for the memory aptitude. And the second is the linguistic analysis aptitude. The linguistic analysis skills enable learners to understand the structure and the patterns of the language. Second, it helps in recognizing similarities and differences between the native and the target languages. Those are my answer.
Thank you. Are you start is my yes. Okay, and from audience, any question? Okay, Linda.
Okay.
My name is Linda. I would like to ask a question about the same point aptitude. In the last paragraph in your paper, in your material, the finding the aptitude is an important predictor of differential success in second language learning holds both for naturalistic context and for formal context. So my question is, no question, the finding aptitude. 5, page 5. Jelas kah jelas? Can you give me a concrete example? How? How aptitude can affect language learning, second language learning in naturalistic context and formal context? Just give me example, concrete example. Mhm.
Okay, in that question will be answered by the second speaker. I will try answer for your question. You ask what is the example between naturalistic context and more formal classroom instruction. For example, for naturalistic context, there is two students, Adinda with Dela, both trying to learn Spanish while living in a Spanish-speaking country. Dinda has a natural aptitude for language. You quickly pick up on pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary, and you become fluent within a few months. On the other hand, Della, despite her efforts, struggle to grasp the language nuance and remains at a basic conversation level. In this case, Dinda's aptitude for language acquisition predicts your success in naturalistic environment. In the second, formal classroom instruction. Uh, for example, game. Atika is Desra, who are taking the same French course at school. Atika has a high language aptitude. You, Atika, easily understand complex grammar rules and can memorize vocabulary with ease. Yes. Is yes. Easy. Is. Ada batas. As a result, she consistently scores top grades in her French class. For Desta, lacks the same aptitude, and despite putting in considerable effort. He struggled to keep up with the course material and learn lower grades. Here, Atika's aptitude for language learning predicts her success in the formal classroom setting. Maybe like that for the exception. I will testify you for the answer. Yeah, okay, thank you. Because our questions have been answered, we next to the last section is Wasi. And we apologize if
there are mistakes on explanation or writing on the paper. And the last of Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in amma ba'du. Oke, thank you for all of my friends that come to our class in SLA class, and I'm become a moderator from this 7 group, sekaligus comparator from the C group. And before it, let me introduce myself. My name is Dela Arifa, and
My name is Ahmad Mustafa Rahman as the first speaker.
And I'm Marini Nazrul Muda as the second speaker.
I'm Amika Sumani Hidayah from the first group as first speaker, and I'm Ania Tusiria as the second group, the second speaker. And my name is Adinda Prina Putri as the moderator of the fifth group. Okay. For the second group, time is yours. Fourth group, time is yours.
Okay. Second language learning in the classroom. Second language learning in the classroom refers to the process of acquiring proficiency and competence in a language that is not the learner native or first language within the educational setting. It involves structure and organization instruction aimed at developing the ability to understand, speak, read, and write in the target language. The focus is on enhanced communication skill, grammar, vocabulary, cultural understanding, and overall language proficiency to enable effective use of the second language in academic, social, or professional context. The classroom provides a structured platform for learners to engage with the language, interact with the peers, receive with the and practice in supportive and educational setting. The next point is strategy of second language learning in the classroom. In a classroom setting, second language learning can be facilitated by implementing various strategies and techniques. Some key points to consider are: there are 6 points. The first is exposure to slang, challenging language. The next is incorporating language skill across the curriculum. The third is cultivating relationship and being culturally responsive. The fourth is emphasizing productive language. The fifth is providing opportunities for authentic communication. And the last is incorporating technology and multimedia. Maybe that's all my explanation. I will give back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for the first speaker. And next for the second speaker, time is yours.
Thank you. I'm a second speaker. I will explain about method of SL learning in the classroom. There are several methods and approach to second language learning in the classroom. Some of the most recognized and commonly used methods include communicative approach, direct method, audiolingual method, the silence way, grammar translation method, cognitive code method, natural approach, and inductive approach. And then next is effect of classroom learning in second language learning. There are five. The first is motivations. A student level of motivation to learn a second language play a key role in the effectiveness of learning. High motivation can encourage active participation and determination to master a new language. And the second, teaching method. Choosing a teaching method that suits student needs and learning styles can influence the effectiveness of second language learning. Methods that focus on communication and interaction are often more effective. And social culture context, the social and culture context in which students live and learn can influence their motivation and understanding of a second language. Number four, frequency and consistency of practice. Consistent and ongoing practice in the use of a second language helps students strengthen and sharpen their language skill. And the last, learning material, use of technology, appropriate textbook, and relevant teaching materials can increase accessibility and facilitate second language learning. Thank you. I will give back to
Okay, thank you for the second speaker. And next agenda is quiz that will be asked from the fifth group. Comparison from fifth group. Time is yours. It is yours.
Okay, I will ask. So in the second language learning, it includes acquisition process, right? Yes. And does the second language learning can make effect influence the acquisition process. In your explanation, SL learning it includes acquisition process like uh, communicative approach. It's make focus on allowing students to use the language naturally. So the question is, does SL learning can influence appreciation process?
Okay, thank you for the comparison. From the chat group. Okay, time is yours.
In the paper, I think there will be explain about the advantage in point B. It's only the advantage in it, I think. So I want to ask about, is there perhaps a disadvantage to second language learning in the classroom? Apakah ada kekurangan jika di second language learning in classroom?
Okay, thank you for the second comparison. And next we'll answer on give a time for the speaker. Okay, because the first question will be answered by the second speaker. Time is yours.
learning second language through acquisitions is the yes we need yes we need because we use this method too naturally. Yes,
Thank you. How about the comparison? Are you satisfied? Satisfied. Uh, how about the comparison? It is satisfied.
yes. Thank you for the answer.
Okay. Because the first question have answered by the second speaker. The second question will be answered by the first speaker. Time is yours.
Uh, I think there are disadvantages of second language in the classroom. The first is time limitation. Limited time in class may not be enough to train students intensively, especially if the class is large or the subject matter is complex. The next is classroom dependent. Students can become too dependent on the classroom context for practice and find it difficult to apply the second language outside the classroom environment. Maybe that's all.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Okay, thank you for the answer. How about the comparison? Are you satisfied with your answer?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, please give classroom for the and next, does the audience have a question?
Nothing.
I think
Maybe you can give the example of natural approach. Yes, that's it.
Repeat.
Maybe you can give an example of natural approach itself. And inductive also. Nah, inductive. Inductive.
okay, thank you for the audience. Please give time for the speaker answer. Okay, the audience please listen. The second speaker will answer your question. Time is yours.
I will answer the question of from the staff. A natural approach. In second language, if we study about second language, if we not kalau kita gak pakai bahasa itu sehari-hari, we cannot get the influence. Kenapa itu kita dibutuhkan penggunaan yang natural? Yes.
And then inductive.
Inductive approach and about inductive approach. A teacher, for example, teacher introduce the student a kind of example of sentence. For example, Guru gave a sentence. He is reading a book. He plays soccer and they will travel tomorrow. And then The students diminta untuk mengamati pola-pola yang muncul.
The grammar.
Yes, the grammar or the sentence.
So, about natural approach is how they are speak and every day, and the grammar will be better day by day, like that.
Yes.
But inductive approach is such as what? Stimulus.
Yes.
Must give stimulus that the grammar will better day by day.
Yes. Okay, because our session have done. The last session is closing. Closing ah? Iya maksudnya next the over. Because the time is over for the fifth group and over to the fourth group. Time is yours. Tunjukkan pesona.
Thank you for the first moderator for let me lead this presentation of this group. So I am as moderator, as the second moderator, will lead the presentation of this group about second language acquisition in the classroom. And in this material, there are 2 points that I would like to discuss by fifth group. So without wasting so much time, try to the fifth group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, moderator. It's moderator. And we start to the first point is the definition of language acquisition and classroom interaction. Language acquisition is subconscious process in acquire the second language. And while classroom itself feels as a place where interaction of various kinds take place, affording learners opportunities to acquire the second language, whereas acquisition requires meaningful interaction in the target language during which the acquire is focused on meaning rather than form. So the next is analysis system. The teacher or the educator, it's important to make analysis system. There are 2 aspects that important to analyze. The first is the description of classroom activities. So the teacher must prepare their point. The first is participant organization or participant in activities. The participant in activities can be locals, group, or individuals. And the teacher must be prepared about the content activities. And next is student modality. If the activities can make involve student skills or not. And the last is materials. The materials, the teacher must prepare about the type of materials, length, the means of length itself, the short or long, the activities it held, and the last is source or purpose. The teacher must know the source of the materials and the purpose why the activity must do it. And the second is communicative feature. The first is the use of target language, and the second is whether or and to what extent there is an info gap. So in the communicative feature,
This passage is describing the analysis of communicative feature related to second language acquisition in the classroom setting. These communicative features are assessed based on information obtained from audio recording of the classroom session. It means that what the teacher hear about these activities. The first aspect is the use of target language. This feature focuses on how much the target language is used in the classroom. And the second, whether and to what extent there is an info gap. This feature assesses whether there are disparities in information among participants in the communication process. And the third is sustained speech. It measures how long participants speak continuously without pause in their conversation. And the fourth, whether the focus in us is on the message. This feature looks at the whether participant prioritize conveying the message or information over linguistic correct. And the fifth, the way of incorporation of preceding utterance. This pertains to how participants integrate previous statement or utterance into their ongoing conversation. And the sixth is discourse initiation. It involves examining how conversation or discourse began, whether it's initiated by the teacher, student, or parties in the classroom. And the last is the degree to which linguistic form is restricted. This assesses the extent to which language use constrained by grammatical or linguistic rules. And the next point is the aspect acquisition of language, second language in the classroom interaction. The first is task interaction. Task-based language learning is methodology that emphasizes the use of communicative text to promote language acquisition. Interaction can contribute to language acquisition in various ways. For example, well-designed interaction can generate quality feedback. And additionally, if teachers and learners value interaction and see it useful activity, they are more likely to benefit from it to learn second language. It's just for me.
Thank you for the first speaker for your explanation. And then the next explanation will be delivered by second speaker. For second speaker time. Okay, thank you. The next or second explanation is turn taking. Turn taking in second language acquisition classroom refers to the practice of students and teachers taking turns to speak or participate in spoken interaction. According to Van der 1988, he identified several turn-taking behaviors that he believes are indicative or such initiative. Example, topic, self-selection, allocation, and sequence. Here's how turn-taking operates in the second language classroom, acquisition in the classroom. The first is teacher-student interaction. Teacher asking question, providing interaction, instruction, or introducing new language concept. The second is student-student interaction. Maybe such as group discussion, paper, and collaborative activities require students to take turns speaking. The third is balancing participation, such as teachers may encourage quieter students to share their thoughts and actively engage in the learning process. The last is, the next is creating a supportive environment. The five is corrective feedback. The seven is preparing rules. The eight is explicit training such as teach turn-taking strategies and conversational convention in the target language. The last is fluency and naturalness, such as in developing fluency and naturalness in their speaking. The undertaking activities aim to simulate live conversation, helping students use the language more comfortably and spontaneously. The third is teacher talk. Mean teacher talk in this case is refers to a teaching style or communication approach by the language instructor that might be perceived as harsh, critical, or unsupportive by the student. According to Chaudron, 1988, he stated that teachers modify their speech when addressing second language learners in the classroom in a number of ways, and also that they are sensitive to their learners' general proficiency. Teacher talk has gathered a lot of attention because of its possible impact on student understanding, which is thought to be critical for second language acquisition. Number four is error treatment. Error treatment itself, in this case, is refers to how teachers address and respond to the mistakes and errors made by students when learning a new language. There are some the effect of error treatment on acquisition, namely the first issues is terminological in nature, such as feedback, repair, and correction. The second issues concern learners' attitudes towards error treatment, such as correction from the teacher. But in contrast, according to Krashen, 19 and 82, that the correction is both useless for acquisition and dangerous in that it may lead to a negative affective response. And the last issue is concerned who performs the treatment. Self-initiated and self-completed repair by learner was evident, although they were inclined to appeal for assistance from the teacher because the teacher's personal teaching style may influence the type of repair work that occurs. The last point is learner participation. Learner participation in second language acquisition in the classroom refers to the active involvement of students in the learning process. However, learners are frequently restricted to a responding role. It is not surprising that there is prospect for constructive participation in the second language classroom are limited. If as has been conjectured, change for utilizing second language materials are vital for acquisition, then learning in the classroom might be hampered. Okay, I think that's it for me. I give back to moderators.
Thank you, Mr. Group, for your presentation. The next session is question and answer. The first, yeah, yeah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the second moderator. I'm here. Just now I become the moderator. Now,
Iya.
now become comparison. I want to ask to the first speaker, Aviva. Just now in the second point, communicative feature. There is the second point, whether and to what extent there is an info gap. Can you tell me what is gap? This means? Gap.
Bukan wedding. Yang hanya wedding.
Okay, so the comparison as about point A in second halfway. lecture about infogame.
Yes.
Okay. So what is infogame? Okay. So your question will be answered by the first. The word gap.
Yes, of course.
The gap is mean refers to the lack information. The lack information that need to be addressed or filled in the communication process.
Gap is mean like so alat.
It's a terms, and terms has meaning refers to the lack information to to fulfill and it the lack informations are different information between two or more parties in communication.
Okay.
Are you satisfied?
Yes. I so.
Okay.
I am.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, so the next question, maybe from the participant. No, nothing. Okay, nothing. 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 Nothing.
Give us 24 hours.
Okay, because the time is over, so the question answer session will be closed. And then the next session is
Apologizing.
okay. Before we close our presentation, I am second moderator. Would like to apologize if there are some mistake or impolite behavior from us.
I'm become the first moderator. I'm sorry if there are mistakes from me. And sorry for my
I apologize if there are mistaken.
Apa sih?
okay, that's all from me.
Okay.
From us.
Together.
Before
The last